how important is synchronization versus latency? And Chris, I know you mentioned the onboarding of somebody who, who's uh, in the audience at an all hands meeting. I know you said that's sort of the holy grail where you're going. Is there a balance, though, that we say we don't necessarily need ultra low latencies on it as long as we have synchronization, or do we have to have both, as low latency as possible and everybody synchronized receiving the content at the same time?
I think in terms of like what we're seeing, that's it's very unique to LinkedIn, but I think because our CEO values communication, I think we're the only company in the world this large that has a global all hands every 2 weeks, right? And we're piping in feeds from every different office in the world, so we can see them in real time via like DSMs that he can see from stage. So if he wants to take in a question, somebody goes on the mic, say in Omaha, Nebraska, or in London or whatever, he can just choose that. The feed's coming right in. Now, this is using standards that our broadcast engineering team has developed, which is like using like wrist and different Zoom integrations and as well. So that's when you're getting into like the world of just signal acquisition in program. Those have to be very spot on, very ultra low latency. But then on the end user, we're looking at 30 seconds. So now, like, what if there's a world in which both that the presenters that are like in our offices as well as just on their computers at home can anytime raise their hand and come on to the stage onto the more of the virtual stage, maybe like outside the production control room, but in program feed. That's what's really exciting because it merges both of our worlds instead of just the stream being the output of the control room environment, right? So, and then everybody downstream doesn't have that level of interactive interaction. They have it via chat and that sort of thing on Yammer, but not the same, right? So I think that's where we're getting to. I think we've been thought leaders in this space for some time. I think that we kind of uh, borrow things from leaders like Darcy and Oliver in this world and foreseeing what we can and cannot do. Like yeah, so the stuff that you do in the metaverse, we're thinking about ways to bring it in. I don't know if you saw the I forget what it's called, but Facebook had it's like the ultra photorealist avatars. That just blew my mind. Like if we could have I don't know if it works for LinkedIn, but if we could have some kind of virtual representation of our CEO that can be accessed and everyone else has their own individual avatar. I don't know. Maybe that's where we're heading. But I do think that the in-person interactivity is still going to be paramount, still going to be like where people are wanting to be, but we also have to be very cognizant of folks that are in different locations and not have some kind of like location bias and make sure everybody's on equal footing to contribute and be heard.
Coming back to a question about synchronization, it's for our cases, we see it's very important to keep the latency on the same level for everybody. That means if you have a low latency, ultra low latency, like sub-second stream for everybody, then you don't need to worry so much about sync because everybody is in the low latency space anyways. It's more like you really need to turn the quality down, as I mentioned, as far as possible, keep the live stream running. And for what you're referring to is probably this kind of broadcast comparison with the cheering of the audiences to keep that in sync with the live stream, which is kind of broadcast one-to-many on the broadcast field, OTT, but also in the streaming field to keep that in sync. That's not really ultra low latency and no interactivity involved. So everybody wants to enjoy a game or something in an event, maybe on a lean back experience, sitting on a couch on a 4K monitor. And no matter if they are on a TV screen or on a computer screen or on a mobile, they want to have the same experience. But there's no interaction. And when it comes to betting or interacting with the presenters, like purchasing something like or merchandise or so, then you need to come to the real-time space to be in the interactive experience.